Hi and welcome from Nostalgia from A to Z. I'm Abby Powers.
And I'm Zach Daniels.
And we have been sitting here for a very long time and realized that we're just not good at intros.
Just not our thing.
So we are just going to get into it and reviewing our previous episode's recommendations, which was from 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And I can start with going over first if you'd like.
If you'd like to.
Okay. You told me to listen to Guts by Olivia Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. Actually, I've never...
See, I knew you would.
I never listened to it before, but it was a hit. Like, I really wasn't disappointed by anything I listened to. And it was a fun listen. Everything was catchy. I loved how all the lyrics are very unique and witty. And just Olivia has a very strong presence. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I kind of took that for granted. But she takes up she takes up a lot of room when you're listening to music, IMO. And I didn't mind it. Like, it was fun to listen, and it reminded me of, like, No Doubt. I liked her edginess, but I liked how it still felt bubbly. It makes sense on why she's one of, like, the modern pop girls right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, yeah, she's earned that title. And this is her second album, right? I thought, was it Spoiled? No. Sour?
Yeah, that was her
I thought that was her debut
first,
album.
right?
Because I kept hearing this one referred to as her sophomore album.
Okay, then yeah.
So that just made me think that it had to be her second.
Olivia Rodrigo fan 57 in the comments, please tell us.
But and yeah, it was good. I didn't listen to Sour, but I'm sure it was also good. Yeah, I liked it. What did you think about Pink Panthers?
Okay, I really did like it.
Yeah.
Like, especially for our podcast, right? Called From Nostalgia from A to Z. It's a very nostalgic album, right? But it's not. I don't really know how to describe the nostalgia for, if that makes sense.
Like, you can't pinpoint where the nostalgia
Like,
is,
it's so early 2000s,
Yes.
like internet, you know?
Yeah.
And I really like the sound of Pink Panthers. I've never really listened to her before, but now that, like, you recommended Heaven Knows, wow. I mean, it's really pretty.
Mm-hmm. She's so ethereal.
Her
and
voice
just
is so gorgeous.
airy. Like, it's just like you're floating.
Yeah, like we were talking about with Mazzy Star. It's like kind of the same, right? I mean,
Same branch, you know?
yeah, there's definitely influence that you could see, and it just works so well. Mm-hmm. It's such a good album.
It is.
It's so pretty. Thank you for recommending it.
You're welcome. Thank you for recommending Guts. I was like,
of course.
I don't want to say I was like happily surprised, because I feel like that makes it sound like I was expecting the worst. But I didn't know that it was so, like, emo. You know? I thought it was just pop. And I was very, very happy with what I listened to. Like, it was so emo. Like, it just reminded me so much of this, like, middle school me would have probably liked her
middle
a
school
lot.
us. Are you kidding?
Yes. You can start with your movie if you want, because you watched Priscilla.
I did watch Priscilla.
You've been talking about it, but I've been stopping you and being like, don't tell me.
Okay. So I will preface this by being like, oh, I grew up on Elvis Presley. Now, what a loser. What a loser. Are you kidding?
I've been saying this.
See, and I don't know. Jacob Elordi as Elvis. It almost ruined him. It almost ruined him for me. But then I remembered it's Jacob Elordi.
Blushing.
I'm blushing over here. I will say he doesn't really make a good Elvis.
You know, I actually have an opinion on that, and it just came to me. Don't you think them casting a very popular, conventionally attractive man as Elvis kind of like a good point?
Oh, it fits perfect.
Yeah, exactly. People defended Elvis because, like, he was conventionally attractive, and kind of blew everything he did off. And I just think there's some layering there.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. But, like, I don't know. He just doesn't. He doesn't give Elvis in the whole thing, you know?
Maybe I need to rewatch it to. What do you mean? Like, what does he do that doesn't scream Elvis.
Like, I don't really know how
I
to
don't mean that like in a
describe it.
demeaning question. It's like, what do you mean?
It's really hard to pinpoint,
Mm-hmm.
right? That he does have the look down. I just wish there was a little more emphasis on the music in it.
You do want to know who did Elvis worse than
Oh,
Jacob?
we don't got to talk about that.
What was his name? What?
Is it Austin Butler?
At least it wasn't that. Apparently, Austin Butler like walked around like as Elvis. Also, like, well, he was like a method actor. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. Watch me like spreading internet lies right now, but
All this podcast is internet lies. If you listen to this for true information, maybe
You're not gonna get it, no.
find something else. What'd you say?
I said not gonna get it. But
I mean,
I think them not having a focus on music, I personally and don't have anything against it because it's about Priscilla, you know.
mhm.
So I think if they did put any more focus on Elvis, it would kind of just shift more into another Elvis movie.
Truth, and you don't want it to be an Elvis movie.
It's Priscilla.
Golly.
And golly,
I
what else?
mean-
What else did you think about it?
That he's a creep.
Mm-hmm.
That he's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
That he calls her little one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Ew.
Oh.
Ew.
There was multiple moments in that movie I had to pause and be like, Jesus.
What did you think of the cinematography? And
Oh, it was pretty. It was
Yeah.
all pretty. It's Sofia Coppola. Come on now.
Mhm.
It's gorgeous.
It was a gorgeous movie. I liked like just Sophia Coppola.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now the dog in it, the
Mhm.
dog that she has, is adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much. But all I have to say is that Elvis is a creep.
But it was a good movie.
It's a gorgeous movie. If you have not seen it, please go watch it.
Mm-hmm. You tasked me to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I've watched this movie before, and I know we talked about it a little bit last episode, but I like it. It's I think one of like the better recently produced Marvel movies. It has just a great vibe and adventure and storyline. The script doesn't really fall flat. I feel like every character has a good development and has good like personality. And hand in hand, there was great visuals. There were several different worlds we went to, different societies we went to, but everyone felt real. Nothing felt like it was just like fabricated in the moment. You know, like everything felt just a little like just thought through and just wasn't like a last minute how to make this world look different. And I appreciate that all the characters looked good between like a good mesh with practical and visual effects. And the acting, I'm especially going to call out Bradley Cooper's as Rocket. I feel like going that in depth with Rocket's character really just adds so much layers to him. And I feel like that's not a profound way to analyze anything. Of course, a well-written character will do that. But it furthers the connection between Rocket and all the other characters. Like before we knew that they were friends, but I feel like this just made it seem like they were family. Like just really going into Rocket's trauma like that, just like it was so unexpected. But it was written. It was so well written that it's now valuable information that I feel like anybody who would want to get into Marvel should watch, because it's just a good way to get in depth about a character and not feel like a money grab.
It's such a heartbreaking story.
Oh, it's so emotional.
It's so sad. I mean, if you haven't seen Guardians, I don't want to spoil nothing. You got to go watch Guardians. Mm-hmm. It'll make you cry.
I will have to say it is very emotional, and there are so many. There's a specific scene that's just, it breaks my heart even thinking about it. But I will have to say that this is a movie where they're also very good at balancing emotion. It doesn't feel too sad, where just the whole time I just feel like, man, what was I sitting here in a minute? Or like an hour and 34. But it was also just fun. There were scenes where you could tell that they were serious, but it was at least still entertaining to watch. And I feel like maybe Guardians of the Galaxy kind of gets away with that a lot easier than other movies, because, like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy has built a reputation now where it's not as serious. Like, there's just like silly bits already embedded from like movie one, but they still don't let it get away from them, and it's a good movie. There isn't like that screaming goat joke in Thor. Like, it's just like actually funny, silly moments. And I'm also specifically going to kind of call out that one scene of the one take where they're all fighting. That's in this movie, right? Yeah.
Wait. Okay, you're going to have to be more specific than that.
I thought there was a scene where, yeah, in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the most prominent one-take scene is a lengthy hallway fight sequence where the Guardians battle their way through a corridor of enemies. You remember what I'm talking about? No?
Hold up. I'm sure it's very well done.
Well,
though.
I'll show it to you after, and hopefully any of our
Guardians fan 57
knows what I'm
calling
talking
out
about.
you.
But it was good, and I love anything one take, and it was a really good story. So yeah.
Yeah.
We can go into our next recommendations, and our year was 1970.
Oh Lord, yeah, 1970. So there's some fun facts
Oh,
about
yay.
1970, or not so fun, just facts about what was happening in the year. I'll start with sad. Jimi Hendrix died at 27 from alcohol.
Wait, when? 1970?
1970, yeah, he died.
He released an album in 1971.
Maybe after his death.
What? Why did I
Jimi
not
Hendrix
know
died?
this? Why am I heartbroken as if he just died? Like, this is 1971.
Let me make sure.
Yeah, 1970.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah.
You just broke some news to me as if he just died in our living room.
Yeah, he died at 27.
Dang. Okay, well.
But happy PBS began broadcasting. Yay!
Woo.
PBS.
Anyway. Well, that's sad. R.I.P. Jimi Hendrix. Anyway. We can go into music now in honor of Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
A lot happened in the year 70, like a lot. And
so many albums.
So many albums. And I think that's only a precursor for how the rest of the generation's going to go in future. Mm-hmm. The Beatles, Let It Be, released an album. Black Sabbath released 2. They released their debut self-titled Black Sabbath and Paranoid. Pink Floyd with another, Led Zeppelin. However, I picked one. And it was stuck between these other two by Neil Young and the Velvet Underground.
Okay.
But I decided to go with David Bowie, the man who sold the world.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I don't know. It was kind of obvious to me. But there was a lot of very talented other albums. But I just wanted to talk about this one. You can hear him really start to like experiment with his lyrics and sound. There's a lot of there's a lot of like distinct guitar and vocal work. Obviously a lot of like symbolism and themes, but it's also David Bowie that we're talking about. So I feel like anything that I say right now is like, well, duh. Who doesn't know this information about David Bowie?
Yeah.
You know?
See,
like, of course it's good.
I've tried to get into David Bowie before.
What?
You
don't like it?
No, I do enjoy David Bowie.
Okay.
If you don't enjoy David Bowie, what's wrong with you? But I don't know. Something just doesn't click for me.
Okay.
But I am excited to listen to see if my opinion will change.
I'm excited for you to re-listen to it as well. And even if it doesn't change your opinion, I'm still really excited to hear what didn't stick to you, you know? Like, you know, what are things that people do like about it and that you don't, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm happy to hear what you would have to say. And what would you recommend for me?
I am recommending to you the third Led Zeppelin album.
That's what I have
called
written down.
Led Zeppelin 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Actually, yeah.
Back in, I want to say late middle school, when I first started figuring out my music taste, I bought like every single Led Zeppelin album on my mom's iTunes. If you're listening to this, Mom, sorry. But man, that third album really stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
There are just so many good songs on there that just show like the soul of the band. And from their changing sound from 1 and 2, they went from more of like a rockier vibe to kind of more acoustic. Now that's not saying that they didn't have acoustic in the first 2, but this one, it felt like just such like a grand opening to the 70s, that this is what it's going to be like. They experimented more. It was just a big leap for them that I think really worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I gotta say about Led Zeppelin 3.
Well, I'm excited because I've never listened through any of their whole albums.
You've never
before.
listened to a full Led Zeppelin album?
No.
You were in for a ride.
But I'm
It's
really
awesome.
excited because that was one that I had written down, like I said earlier. So I'm excited to listen to it because everything that I read whenever I was looking it up, everyone mentioned like that album. So I'm excited to mention that. And like what you said with this being an album in 1970, I think just opened the doors for oncoming change in music and more to come. So yeah, I'm excited to listen to that. Yay.
Yay.
Going on to movies.
Okay.
I want to start by saying a fun fact as well, that in 1970, the 4 highest grossing movies of the year were also nominated for Best Picture, and this has been the last time that this has happened. The 4 movies that were nominated were Love Story, Airport, MASH, and Patton, which leads me to your movie that I'm recommending, which is Patton. It's a biographical war film about a controversial general. Some of the cinematography in it reminded me just so much of like old style cinematography, and I kind of want to pose you a question. What is the different cinematography style 1970 versus 2024? Does that question make sense? Like if when you're watching it, I kind of want you to like watch out for, if you think this was shot right now, how would it be shot differently?
Okay.
Because even like the opening scene, it's an iconic scene. Like, I don't know if maybe you've seen it before in other pop culture references, but it's like a huge American flag and the guy's like sitting right in front of it, and he's like super tiny compared to the rest of it. But I feel like if that was shot now, it just would be shot differently. Like, I just think there would be a completely different opening. So I'm interested in hear what you would have to answer for that.
Okay.
It is a long movie, but it won like 7 Academy Awards, I'm pretty sure. It was co-written by Francis Ford Coppola and Edmund North. I'm not too sure who Edmund North is, but it had a Coppola in it, which I thought, hey, we had a Coppola last one.
There we go. 2
Yeah.
Coppolas.
And it got 61 million in box offices, and I guess I don't know, in my opinion, I thought for 1970 that can't be that bad. So I'm just recommending a movie to you that was big at the time, meaningful, impactful at the time.
Okay.
So I want to hear what you would have to think about it.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you like me to watch?
I am recommending Multiple Maniacs by John Waters. You want to talk about the exact opposite of yours? That's what it is.
Okay.
It's a staple in queer culture, of course. John Waters, just a perfect director. I mean, all the movies are so camp. You watch them, they're so much fun. I mean, you cannot deny the presence of Divine. She's perfect in this. I mean, it's such a strange movie that I don't want to talk about it too much.
I'm excited to watch this.
You need to watch it and tell me everything you think. Like, you need to live text me on this.
Maybe I'll watch it with you. Actually, I'm actually really excited for you to watch this one. I didn't know this one came out in 1970. Wow. I'm really happy to watch this one. Thank you for recommending it.
Of course, it's going to be so fun. It's all shot in black and white. It's just so like a counter to yours, you know?
It really is.
It first opened in a church basement
Wow.
in Baltimore. I mean, it's John Waters' second like feature length, and it's just so much fun.
I'm excited to watch this one. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so I need to listen and watch Led Zeppelin 3 and multiple. Say it again.
Multiple Maniacs.
Okay, just to make sure I was looking at the right one. Multiple Maniacs.
Mhm.
You need to listen and watch.
Patton. And The Man Who Sold the World.
Not Paddington.
Paddington.
So that'll bring us to our next year, which is doing like the drum thing. Oh, it's actually like comically taking like a super long time. 1987.
1987 specifically. Wow. Okay.
So that'll be fun.
That's super fun. Oh my
Okay.
God. Okay.
What a great episode.
It was super fun.
I hope everyone who is listening enjoyed. And we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.